On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back with the 51 International, and today is the day we drive it again, we think. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, I am here with Zach and Eric and that drive shaft that we talked about in the last video, and we're going to go get this drive shaft set up so we can put it back in the truck after I took everything off in the last episode and go drive this thing. So it's been without a drivetrain for almost a week now since the thing decided to dump its drive shaft on the ground while we were driving down the road. I mean, it was funny for sure, but now we got to put it back together. And in the last video, you guys saw that I took that drive shaft, cleaned it up, and painted it. So today, the new U-joints are here. We're gonna press those in. We also have to get that yoke moving. A lot of people mentioned it in the other video. I think it'll be just fine, but we're gonna sort that out right now. Let's head over to my dad's shop. Hopefully we can find the grease zerk there that we're actually looking for, because the grease zerk that's on this thing is destroyed. Well, the internet wanted us to make sure the yoke moved, and Zach's being a vice here, and Dad's...
You can tell by this nut where it's threaded on right here,
right,
that this has to slide out. This is the sliding seal. And then you can see the grease zerk is right back here.
Oh, that's right.
So if you pump grease in, you know, I mean, if you can pump grease in and grease will come out up here, it should be okay. But we should be able just to smack on it. So I'm just going to take a little hammer here and try to tap on it. Look at that. It comes right out. Now it should come out farther than that.
Yeah, we got to get
But
some...
if you got to take this. Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's freed up. I did grind all that off and clean it.
I couldn't believe it. I could unscrew it with my fingers.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But the wiper might be toast, right?
Well, there's usually a little bit of a leather seal in there. In the old days, they just used leather.
Yeah.
And maybe this has a rubber piece in it. You should be able to unscrew that.
Good job, Zach.
Look at there.
Ah, and it's actually got nice looking grease.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, cool.
Could have just left it alone.
But
you had to paint over
Some of these are keyed.
Yeah.
Where they won't go in but one way. Obviously, this ain't one.
Yeah.
So you can key this one to however you like it. Do you like it like that? Would you like it turned? Would you like it turned one?
Well,
notch,
how
maybe?
was it clocked?
Oh.
You think that was just in case the clocking mattered?
I don't think it matters.
Well, you might have to
once
turn
get
the
it
wheel a
up
little bit. On there.
I just meant, you know, usually drive shafts are balanced, but that's in modern times, and this is 75
You're worried
years
about balance?
yeah, probably not.
We'd like to make it 2 miles before it shoots this
We
one
need to go 2 miles.
We made it a mile last time.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, I'll balance it right there.
All right,
There
perfect.
you go.
That was the factor.
If that makes you feel good, let's see. There is a little bit of a seal down in there, but basically when you tighten this down, it compresses that little seal.
Yeah.
Of whatever material it might be. I put it back in the same spot.
Cool.
So, anyways.
All right, we're ready to go then.
You got a grease zerk?
I will. It's in.
Oh, well, there's stacks of zerks over at the other building.
Yeah, and there's also like.
I don't think there's any here.
No, I put them there. You made me organize them when I was a kid. I know where they're at.
You remember where they're at? That's fine with me.
I know where they're at. All right, I found the grease zerk with ease.
Yeah, that was the right one.
Perfect.
You need a
Tighten that
metric
down.
crescent wrench to.
Yeah, we do need a metric crescent.
Messick crescent.
Metric wrench crescent.
Look, your dad's getting ready to go to bed and he still has his metric crescent.
He does carry his.
I like how you messed it up too.
Yeah.
He puts it under his pillow, along with the screwdriver.
Yeah.
There's 7 of them.
No, they just stay in his pocket when he sleeps.
I like how he's going to Georgia as I come back from Georgia. That's pretty funny.
There you go.
All right. Are you driving a Volvo back too?
A Volvo?
Yeah, I just flew to Savannah and drove a Volvo back
Are you talking about these tools?
over the last.
Except nobody sells these anymore.
Yeah, you can't buy that.
Nope.
I flew all the
Now
way.
you gotta go to Mill. You gotta go with Klein. Klein has really good ones.
I flew all the way to Boston one time on an emergency. They called me at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they said, "Can you be in Boston tomorrow morning?" I said, "Well, you buy the plane ticket." So I flew all the way to Boston. I got up on top of a machine. It was 2 stories in the air. And I got up on it. I said, "Okay, show me what's wrong." And they turned it on. And it just so happens as they turned it on, they said, "Well, the computer's messed up. We want you to fix the computer." I said, "Well, okay, can you show me what it's doing?" So they showed me what it's doing. And when it turned on, I saw it. There was a gauge that caught my eye right here beside me. I saw this gauge. I saw it move and flash back. I said, "Can you try that again?" He turned it again, and I watched that gauge, and the gauge went all the way around, hit the pin, and came back. I pulled my screwdriver out of my pocket. And the guy who had been working on it for a week was standing 10 foot in front of me.
Uh-huh.
I pulled my screwdriver out of my pocket. I unscrewed the top off the regulator. I turned it one turn, and I put the screw back on. I said, "Try it again," because they were, 2 stories down. They turned it back on, and it worked perfectly. They'd been working on it for a week. They called me in. So when I got done, it turned off and it worked. And he said, "The guy couldn't." He just standing there shaking his head, and I walked up to him and I said, "This is a Craftsman. They sell it down at Sears. They're only $8." I thought he was gonna. Well, he grabbed it and he went. He didn't throw it, but I thought he was gonna punch me.
I don't want to know what that bill was.
Here's your bill.
Whatever. You can just add a line item for
They didn't wanna know
screwdriver.
it either.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Plus $13 for screwdriver replacement.
well, yeah.
I
you
didn't
got-
sell him my lucky screwdriver.
No,
Yeah.
but you got charged for it. I mean, that's material.
Oh, they paid. This is a poor man's way of doing it. So do you have a press?
We have a press.
Okay, well it's in. You could just tap them in with a hammer, but now that you got the press, you can do that. So yeah, just put it across there. And, now you got a clip probably that goes on here.
We do have snap rings in here.
Yeah, so you put a snap ring on right here.
Yeah. In that race. Okay.
We
And then
Push it right up against it.
I'll leave this one in the box and I'll make you do the second one.
Yeah,
I can only afford the one.
Yeah, that's right.
Do.
I mean, I give you the snap rings if you want, or we can put them on.
You
Just
guys know how to do
we got it.
yeah. Just so snap
Just
a ring in, press
Put it on
in
the press
position.
and put a socket on it.
Yep. Well, don't you have a? I thought you had a.
I actually do have the yeah.
Put a U-joint press on it. It'll sit
Yeah.
right here and just push it right in. Put the clip on.
Right.
Press it in, and then once you're done, the important thing is after you get this all done, you're going to press it in. But that leaves these bearings very tight.
Yeah.
This bearing very tight, and it makes it hard to turn. So what you want to do is turn that back sideways just like that, and you want to take a hammer and a brass punch. You can use a piece of steel, it don't matter. But
Yeah.
you hit it right here.
Uh-huh.
You set that right there, and you just smack it right here. And what that does is that drives it back tight against this side right here.
Yeah.
Then you turn it over, and you do the other thing, and then it'll turn nice and free like that.
Yep.
So it won't be in a bind, right? So that seats those rings back up tight. Because once you press it in, of course, it's going to be, it'll be tight up against this side. You just got to drive that side back,
Yeah.
so that it's nice and loose. Because it should be flexing just like that. Has this got a grease circle on it?
On the end over here.
Oh, right there. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Don't grease it till you put it on.
Right. We'll have exploding caps.
Yeah.
You'll be sorry.
So was the first one just so tight that it bound up and broke, or was it just the bearing?
Oh, when I got under the truck, I don't know if there were even needle bearings in it. The caps existed, but I could turn the drive shaft that far by hand before we drove it. We knew it was bad.
Yeah.
I thought the tires were bad. Pretty sure. I was like this. Like when shifting, I was like, these tires are rough. And Jordan was like, I'm starting to think that's
And-
U-joints. And it was ping, 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 ping. on
Eric
the road.
also, he was like, it's a real pain to shift. I'm like, yeah, because the drive shaft flopped back and hit the transmission
It did
mid-shift,
this.
you
I
know?
shifted in a second, and the whole trans went like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, did the transmission just fall out?
It
I
was,
wasn't sure. Jordan goes, I think maybe. And I looked back. I was like, never mind. It was the drive shaft. But the important part was the two guys that waved at us, it was still running. And after they, passed by,
You rev it up for them?
then it spit. No. It spit out the drive shaft after we
they
got
passed,
we got the old man wave. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate that.
yeah, absolutely.
But then some old guy, right next to his house where we broke down, took pictures, laughed, and filmed us because we were sitting there on the road.
Yeah, it happens.
I hope that blows up.
It's always good for comedy.
All I did was stand on the brakes and try to see if I could stop his F-250. He goes, "Stop doing that."
I can feel it, so we know the brakes are working.
They kind of work.
Yeah.
And we are back with a U-joint and a new grease zerk. And let me come over here while Eric greases this. I'll hold it for you. Here. Get this thing. Should be good. And now this time it won't be spraying grease out with a brand new zerk. Ah, much better.
How many pumps?
Until it comes out the end.
Do that yet.
No, you can always grease this one. We just don't want to grease the U-joint. It's shut up. But it's gonna take a lot.
Let's see. You can't come over anymore.
You're banned.
There's no grease in that, by the way.
See if it's moving in and out. Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
It sure is. It's actually looking pretty packed. I'm not upset about that. She moves freely.
Keep going.
Honestly, that's plenty. You don't need to keep going.
Your dad said it was supposed to squirt out.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out the center. So you just wiggle back and forth and it'll pop off, Eric.
Zach, get that. My hand's all greased up. Got him.
There it goes. Nice and easy, honestly.
Yeah, once
Once it lined up. Yep. Okay, flip it over. Let's make sure it's flush on this side. Look at that.
Looks good. He just got the black lung, pup. You've been down here for 15 minutes.
He's been working in the mines too long.
Love that.
All right, I think we're ready to rock round 2. Let's go ahead and push
Pretty
her.
much in.
Couple of those. Yeah, you got her.
Nice and slow like that.
You know that the Theo Vaughn clip that everyone has edited now, where it to be the chrome socket impact socket thing? He's like, don't you ever just want to use a chrome socket instead of an impact? He's like, yeah, I've never, but yeah, I want to do it.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, you should never. Do you?
Yes.
Nuh-uh, do you really?
Do you not?
Oh, there it goes.
Hold on.
It moved.
That's it.
It moved.
We'll give it a tap each way, but let's put the clips in.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and throw the clips on the U-joints now. Make sure they are retained.
This drive shaft's 19 pounds, by the way.
19.9.
Yeah, 19.9.
A little close to Eric's limit. Well, I got the front of the U-joint off of this thing, the old ones, and Eric's under here getting the rear ones off right now. And I've got another project to knock out in the meantime. The exhaust, as many people noticed, is just kind of flopping around. And in the video, you can clearly see it doing the floppy thing there. And it's held up by a strap of leather. So we got a nice strap of genuine buffalo leather here. And now I'm gonna drill a couple holes in it, make it match, and rehang the exhaust. And then we'll get that drive shaft in, and that's pretty much everything we need to drive this thing, other than the gas, the fuel tank. Well, of course, we're doing all this work on the ground instead of jacking the truck up. So I had to get real tight with the drive shaft here, and I'm going in. Well, now we just need a couple of screws. And I think we've just about got the drive shaft situation sorted here. There, it's starting to click into place. I like that.
Do you have one of those screws?
Yeah, one of the screws is down here on the floor and all the rest are on the fender.
I just wanted to make sure.
All right, I didn't lose any, don't worry.
I was just like,
I could hear you blaming me from afar.
yeah.
We are under the International right now, and I want to show you guys something. Eric was over here doing this while I was working on the drive shaft the other night, and we have the first coat of JB Weld on the tank here. Now, it's not just JB Weld, this is JB Tank Weld, and it's custom made for fixing gas tanks. So let's take a look at Eric's handiwork here. And you can see he's got the gas tank looking pretty patched up. I think this is probably serviceable as is, but we know that most of the gas is coming from up here and like dripping down into a point on the little belly, and that's where it's coming out of the tank. But after he cleaned this up, he found some pinholes right in here, and he shoved all of the mix that we had on here. I don't think it's enough. So today we're gonna cover this with even more just to try to make sure this thing doesn't leak. Now, it's been patched before and it's not leaking over there. If you can see that big green area on the bottom of the tank, that's a previous patch. And obviously this tank is in bad shape, but this tank isn't long for this world, so this is a very, very temporary fix. Now this stuff is amazing feeling. It is fully set up like it's a, you know, a fiberglass that's fully finished out after you put it on there. But I want to put a couple more strips, one there and one there, just to try to ensure that it can't leak one bit. After a quick run to O'Reilly's, we're back with our tank weld here, and Eric did the first one, so I don't have any experience with this, but I think it's pretty easy. I think all we gotta do, luckily they give you this big old mixing tray built right in, so all we have to do is impregnate the fiberglass and mix all this up with the little applicator. I put on some gloves so that I can make a giant mess out of this. And then basically, it says right here, right? Prepare it, remove all grease and dirt. We kind of did that. Squeeze one side of the pouch till the seam breaks. Okay. I wonder which side's easier to break the seam with. That was easy. All right, and then we actually get to mix it in situ.
So I'm gonna mix this back and forth until it turns gray, I assume, right? Keep combining, knead the material for 1 minute, cut the pouch, apply half the epoxy over the damaged area with the stick, or my hands because I put on gloves, and sets in 5 minutes, cures in 4 hours, which is perfect because I want to be driving this truck in 4 hours. So we're getting there. It's starting to look kind of gray, which is ideal. Cover up the fiberglass with it. I guess put half on the tank real quick, slather it on there, put some of the fiberglass strip on, and then slather all the rest on, and then do it again above that. So we've got 3 layers of this stuff, trying to make sure the gas stays in the tank where it belongs. Because preferably, you know, gas does cost some amount of money. So I don't really want to dump it all out on the ground for other people to recover and use. Is that how that works? Well, there you go. 2 kits of tank weld shoved on there. I had to work that in there pretty quick to try to make it all happen at one time. But we've got 3 pieces of fiberglass, tons of tank weld, and we just coated the whole bottom of the tank. So hopefully in 4 hours, we can put gasoline back in this thing. Let's get to it. I figure, since we're doing everything today, we ordered brand new seals for the headlights to make our retro brights even prettier. So we've got our fresh seals on here, and I just changed all the spring retainers. I'll show you guys real quick how you do this, but it's kind of the easiest thing in the world. You just pop down like that, pull out the spring retainer, change your seal, and then put them all back somewhat evenly spaced. It sure is cool that they still sell these. So Eric found these, but they're from a company named Super Soft. I think the company's named Metro. Sponge Super Soft. Anyway, HR10s, that's what you need for your international. Pretty cool that they still sell them. Now that we got new gaskets, we can throw these on and protect our, well, make our headlights look finished. That's the whole key. And now we've got our headlight rings on there, which makes the front end look much more complete instead of having all these screws just hanging out. Obviously, we got a little bit of washing to do here to clean up all the dust and, you know, grime left over from when we actually clean this thing up. But maybe by the end of the day, we could have this thing at a car wash, which would be very cool. So headlights trimmed up, and I want to mention something else here because one person complained about the wire nuts, which are actually hilarious on a truck that's older than most houses. We've got our bus bar in here. So now I can go ahead and crimp on a bunch of terminals and then land all these on there to finally clean it up. One of the screws stripped out, so that's why there's only one holding it right now. But I promise it's very, very tight. But I gotta go find a replacement for these button head screws because we're keeping it classic. We're not changing fasteners, we're keeping it classic. Well guys, we are on our fun 14th mission of making the parts for the International. It seems like a story that doesn't end, but we're over here with my dad at the Bridgeport because Eric and I spent a ton of time trying to drill out the caps on these U-joints. And unfortunately, one side of it needs threaded caps, which is what we bought, and the other side, it turns out, needs a clean bore. So we have to drill out 2 of these caps to be a nice clean bore exactly the size of the bolt. We've already ruined a couple drill bits trying to get through these things. So the solution here,
And we're about to ruin another one.
we're probably about to ruin this one too. This is a brand new titanium nitride drill, but it's not a carbide drill, and unfortunately we just didn't have the right size. So we're gonna get as close as we can and hope we can rip the threads out of this thing. Hey, boy, that's located. So we've tried standard high-speed steel bits, we've tried step bits, we have been working hard to try to drill these. Put that bit in there, it's 14,000.
Oh,
Does it have a speed diagram?
no.
What's how fast was that going? Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh,
It's probably on 1750 or something, huh? It was flying. Flying.
this is an old Bridgeport that we bought and restored. I don't know how old it is, but it's an antique.
Well, DeWalt, you did pretty good. You made it almost that far. Almost that far before the bit self-destructed.
Yeah, just cut the side off. I figured, well, this is obviously hardened material from, I didn't know if I had a 5/16 endo, but we went digging and found one.
Yep.
It's a carbide. You give it a little Earl.
And hopefully we see, oh!
That's what I was afraid of.
Well, even with a carbide end mill, in the mill, this ended up taking an extreme amount of time. It did go through, so we got a nice clean bore right there. We should have checked it, huh?
Check it.
We don't need to check it.
No, I know, we don't need to check it. That's all a scam. That'll work, that'll work. All right.
You hope.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work. We know where it's going.
And now we've got to make it official. Our final touch before we get the International out on the road for real. 7191 is getting swapped out for IHLI. The fun part here is finding out if these screws are going to move. They've been on there for well over 30 years. That's when he registered this thing. I think it was 88, something like that. And it might be fun getting those screws back off. Well, the tag was a little more work than I thought. It involved grinders, punches, sledgehammers. You could not believe the amount of work that went into getting this new tag on here. But now that it's on, give it a little bit of wipe because my gloves were dirty and it looks nice and pretty. Take a look at, I mean, you can see how much work we were doing with the grinder. I was trying to save this tag because apparently in Australia, where a lot of my viewers are, they like to buy these tags. So I have collected big boxes of them and I'll ship them over there. So saved another really cool looking tag. But got one tag on here and I like the way it looks. The time has come to find out if everything works, and we are only seconds too late. The sun just went down and the whole point of today was driving it in the sunset. And outside you can see, well, the sunset. You're fully committing to this bit here. That's all the gas we had.
There's 2 gallons in it.
Okay. Is it dripping?
Sadly.
Actually, the floor is nice and dry.
So far.
So far. So she's holding up, you guys can see, maybe. The drive shaft's in, bolted in. All the retainers are in place. Everything is done. So the next question is the fuel pump going to prime? Because that, if the fuel pump primes, we're home free. You already put the hose and the clamp on?
Yeah, it's all done.
Oh, did you just drop that screw? Brother. I don't need that screw. It's the ruined screw. But let's not lose it, I guess. Good job. All right, here we go. Please work, please work, please work, please work. I think it's working.
I can hear it filling.
Yes! Fuel! You ready? Here we go.
Sure, it's in 6th gear.
Oh, I'll put it in 6th gear. Let's see. That seems like 6th.
Down is off.
Let's take it for a drive. We're good. We're ready for the night drive. Those headlights look amazing. We got one tail light. We're legal.
Yeah.
So let's get it out on the road. It's finally ready to rock. Since the first real drive, I gotta say this thing is outrageously noisy inside. Everything rattles. There's NVH or NVR was not a real thing. NVH, back when these were invented. It's just pure noise. Everything's kind of loose. 40,000 miles in. Crazy. Eric's over here whipping.
Top speed.
Top speed, 20. We're on 15.
I gotta get it to go. It's a 4-speed, right?
Yeah, it's a 4-speed.
If I can get it in 4. Maybe I'm going too far over.
I think you can get it in 4. Here we go, baby!
sunset. Some days you gotta sit in the bed, you know? It's a good place to hang out.
We're almost 4 or 5 miles in, which is insane, especially with these tires. As we drive down the road, they're so flat spotted, of course. I mean, you guys know how bad it is. Look at them. They don't even exist. That one was actually okay. This was the really bad one. And as we go down the road, where this one's way out around, it's just bouncing the whole front end up and down. So we're struggling a little bit with the completely shot tires. But other than that, it's amazing to have this thing out on the road. So we might have to order some cokers, get some tires on here, but honestly, eventually the whole setup's gonna change. So we might just hold off for that, because the new setup with the new frame, well, it'll run modern tires, and you can't beat that. So Eric threw a little bit of fresh fuel in it. You didn't see any leaks? Yeah, I think we might have got the tank. I don't see any leaks. Did you check the oil? Let's double, triple check the oil. One thing we did notice is my 3D printed fuel pump delete plate. While it's working absolutely perfectly, there's just a little, it's not deep enough. I need to bring it down a little bit more. And once I do that, it'll stop leaking. But right now it can drip a little bit of oil out of the bottom, unfortunately. So we'll fix that next. Just reprint it as a slightly deeper piece and we're ready to rock. But this thing is back on the road completely. And we're gonna put the hood on it right now so we can make it look like it's completely finished.
It's my first time really driving this thing out on the road. And it's not like it's a bad truck, but I think this is where the term rattle trap came from. Because, like I said before, it rattles. But we're in third, and we're ripping. We should probably check the trans fluid, see if there's any in it at all. Yeah, we don't know if there's anything in the transmission. That's the one thing we never checked. It's on the list. I mean, it's a manual. The steering box might be a little worn as well. This is 36,000 miles of steering box wear. I can just do this going down the road. Doesn't really affect anything. If somebody drives up beside me, I'm gonna go like this, but nothing's gonna happen.
We succeeded. The 51 International has been fixed. It's back on the road. And really everything works. The only thing is that unsynchronized transmission and these old shot tires, well, it's a bear to drive. So with some fresh rubber, and we're gonna check the fluid in the transmission right now just to make sure everything's cool. We were planning on driving this thing south tomorrow after this very successful drive. We fixed basically everything, but then I was like, let's check every fluid. And we're just gonna double check over everything because that trip, like I said, it's quite a few miles. So tomorrow we'll be out on the road with this thing. We are basically all the way there. So hopefully this thing will even be at Cars and Coffee this Saturday too. We're ready to put some miles on it. The tires are rough, but we're gonna put some miles on it. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you wanna do, and I will talk to you next time.
Was there a gasket? Oh,
There
is. There is.
I think the gasket's just stuck on there, guys.
Yeah.
But we have done a few things real quick because we need to drive this to Eric's house tonight, but we went ahead and pulled the entire floor access panel out, pulled the entire shifter cartridge out of there.
Oh, it stinks.
Yeah, it does. It smells. It's gear oil, man.
Yeah, but like milky gear oil.
It's gear oil and water. You guys can see this looks like a milkshake or a bubbly milkshake in there. It is absolutely nasty inside this thing. And we were having so much of an issue shifting. I was like, I think we just solved it, and we have solved it when we found out it was full of water. And now we're going to refill it with fresh gear oil, and it should be good to go. So I'm going to get under there and drain it. Let's make sure we have some 80/90 to refill it.
Okay.